Alright guys, welcome to a Wood League Warriors casted game. This is the new series that I'm going to experiment with. So I'm thinking we're going to be casting some lower elo guys. In this particular game, Puff the Dog is ranked Bronze 2 at this point in time. And we're going to take a look at the games. We're going to see what they're up to. And I'm looking to make this as a more educational piece rather than, I don't know, having like too much, like just having pure fun with it. Like, obviously it's going to be fun to have a take a look at this. Some unique ideas definitely coming out of this elo range. And we're going to talk about some of the things that they could probably improve on. So if you are in like stuck in bronze or maybe low silver or whatever it may be, even higher than that, this stuff should be able to help you in terms of climbing. So we're going to take a look at both players here. But I think most of our attention is going to be on Puff the Dog. So straight away, first inefficiency I see is he's building two houses. Now, you might wonder why two houses is a bad idea. And it's because you can use that wood for something else. So in this case, because he's the French, he can still afford a lumber camp. But if he was any other civ, he wouldn't be able to afford it. Another thing is the sheep are really far out. Look at the walking distance that these guys have to do. Like, that's quite a lot of time wasted by them not gathering the sheep right under the TC. So just click on the sheeps. I know it's hard in this game. It's a bit annoying at the moment, but click on the sheep and just right click under the TC right there. So let's take a look. Scouting pattern, not too bad. One thing I recommend on most maps is going out the middle first and then going around to the sides, assuming that you're going single scout. Generally speaking, as French, you like to go double scout, so you can get more sheep. There is also a possibility of going professional scouts, and it's really nice to have one scout moving around with your knights, so you know where you can hit and raid your opponent. So build order, a little bit off, and as you can see, he's built a mill. So rather than bringing the sheep back and delaying this mill, now he's going to have to chop straggler trees in order to build a lumber camp. Not ideal. So just look at refining your builds. Just go watch anyone that plays French and like Marine Lord, the Muslim, all those guys play French. I also have an older build order guide. If you can't find any build order guides to follow, that one you could take a look at. French has evolved a bit with the builds, so it's not as relevant, but nonetheless, it's not too bad, his opening build. Like, he has a little bit too much food. He has no wood right now, and he's going to have to chop stragglers. But he's doing a good job of scouting and finding sheep, but he hasn't come back and put them on the TC. And for those of you who don't know, berries are a slower gathering food source for the French, and basically any civ except for Abbasid and Delhi, who get a bonus. Building his landmark with one villager. Now, one thing as well, right now, if you are in a game and you start aging up, you need to think to yourself, okay, what's my opponent doing? And if you don't know, well, you're not going to know if your scout's over here. So as soon as you start the aging process, that's when it should trigger in your mind, okay, I need to go take a look at the opponent's base, see what they're up to, see if they're rushing up to feudal age or if they're doing something more greedy. So that you can like adjust your build accordingly. Like in Puff the Dog's situation, you could build this with like 3 or 4 villages, which I normally recommend anyways, the French, because you do want to get that knight out as soon as possible to start raiding your opponent's eco. So we're going to fast forward a little bit here. If we take a look at the opponent, see what they're doing. They're going for big boy farms here. This is juicy. Quite nice placement of the farms. He knows the old farm, the 10 farm trick. But he hasn't started aging, so Puff the Dog is okay with just aging up with 1. But at the same time, he could have like come in a bit earlier and attacked his gold mine, or you could have actually prevented this going up in this position. Because generally French should be aging, depending on the build that you're doing, like anywhere from like 4 minutes to 5, maybe a little bit after 5, depending on what you're doing. But he definitely could have, with his starting macro, he definitely could have aged up a long time ago, like 4 minutes. Look how much resources he got banked at the moment. English actually beats him up first because he built the landmark with more villages here. Macro, pretty nice macro here from our Puff the dog. But he's overbuilding houses. To be fair, he does have a lot of wood stacked up, but generally speaking, you don't want to be overbuilding houses like this. Building a market, very interesting. So he's building a stable, but he's not producing out of the school cavalry. Very interesting. Now, English player building towers for line of sight. I like it, I like it. I wouldn't say it's the most ideal thing. Maybe on the gold mine would make sense, but... What is that? Okay, he's queued up the knights, boys. He's going... Generally speaking, you don't want to be building farms this early, unless you're the English. Like, he still has this hunt here that he can collect. And considering he's not under any pressure, if he'd scouted his opponent, he would know that he'd be safe to get hunts. Considering his opponent only has 3 pikemen right now. And building these farms, it's just delaying you more, right? Generally speaking, as the French, you want to be adding in archers because English is most likely going to be adding in spearmen. So right now, yes, he has enough knights to deal with pikes, but if the English player was building more, then French would be in trouble. Coming in for a nice raid here. We'll just slow it down a little bit. And this is what I'm talking about. This is why it's good to have a second scout. I don't know what happened to Blue Scout. It must have died at some point. But if he has a scout here, he can see exactly where the vills have chopped up to. He can see where he can go in. And also, it's going to allow them to charge from a further distance out. Meaning they'll gain movement speed and they'll be able to like one-shot a vill and then run out. If he had a scout with the knights here. So now I'm just sitting at home. Another thing to do, and this is a little bit more advanced, like if it can get a little bit tricky, but you could send like some knights over around this side, outside of the line of sight of the towers, and you could hit the gold mine with a couple knights, and then you could come into the wood line while they got their attention on the gold mine. You could be killing vills there. 6 idle knights in the base, not a great thing right now. And once again, he doesn't get his charge off because he doesn't have the vision, right? If he attack moves here, they would automatically charge. But still, like, it's still going to be like at a closer distance. The opponent has time to react. But now moving across with more knights. Another thing you can do as well, if you're making knights and you want to keep constantly raid, you need to make sure you're paying attention, but you can shift click the rally point of your stable. So you could shift click it to here so that it doesn't walk in the line of sight of the tower, and then shift click across to here. And then the knight will path out to here, and then it'll path into the gold mine. Just a little tip there if you're interested. I do like this layout though, it's very, very pretty. But one thing with the French is you should always be active with your knights. You should always be trying to kill vills, idle their economy, you know, take small fights. Like if they have a few pikes here, a few pikes here, and a few pikes here, if you've got like 9 knights here and he's got like 3 pikes here, then you're going to do a lot of damage there. You're going to kill them pretty easily, and then you can pressure them off resources. See what English has got. Now, English has gone pure spear, going up to the next stage. And the issue is, Blue has no idea what he's doing. Got archers sitting at home. If the archers were up here, he could do some serious damage. And look, Red's very clever in keeping a scout here. So he knows exactly what his opponent's doing. Let's see, he's probably going to make knights of his own here. His macro is a little bit off, so he can't do anything about that at the moment. But considering that... One, English doesn't have mobility with their army. There's no reason for the archers to be sitting at home. There's no real threat, so they can be moving out on the map straight away and attacking. One other thing as well, if your opponent ages up and you've invested a lot into army, a good thing to do is just go straight in and attack as soon as they age up. They've just spent like 1800 resources on aging up, and you can punish that. They'll have a lot less army. They won't have the upgraded units by the time you're attacking. And as you can see now, the English player has veteran spearmen. To be fair, this army would still stomp the English army here. Puff the Dog opting to age up, I believe, although he keeps spending the gold. Oh, he's got all his eco techs in. One thing as well, with any civ, wheelbarrow. Always the first tech you should be getting. Easily the best economic tech, especially if you're chopping this much wood. It increases carry capacity and also the speed of your villagers. See if English has got it. He does. He also has horticulture. Tier 2. Damn, this guy's booming. Tier 2 wood chopping as well. Oh no, Puff the Dog's aging with one vill again. Don't do me like this, Puff. You need more on it. You need more vills. Just think about it. Yes, you're saving resources by only building this as one. It's more efficient to build with one vill. But at the same time, you're giving your opponent to mass up an army, and you're not upgrading your units. You're delaying your upgrades on your units. And now the opponent coming into raid. Puff just standing still with his army. Okay, now he's looking to push in. He's missing his archers. Attacking the deer. Uh-oh. This is not good. I mean, he might win this fight, but it's not a cost-effective trade. These spears are veteran, actually. There's no way he wins this fight. They also have the upgrade from the network of castles. If he just had his archers there, he would have won that. But he's obviously distracted at home with these knights. He didn't garrison any of the villas. If your villages are under attack, you need to garrison them. So if you just like hover across all the villas and click G, then they'll go back into the town center. Like all of them will go back. They'll go back to the nearest point they can garrison. So if there was a tower here, then these villas would pop in the tower here. And then you can just click D again, and that'll eject them. And then they'll all go back to what they were doing. Now the archers come in. He already lost like half his knights. They're heavily damaged. And as soon as you have like 2 or 3 knights that are damaged, you should be getting chivalry straight away. This is 170 resources, and if you just heal one low HP knight back to full health, you've already gotten the value out of that tech. Insanely good tech. Don't miss it if you're French and going heavy into knights like Puff the Dog is doing here. And now he's just waited too long. He's not up in the next stage. His opponent has had time to upgrade his units, increase the mass, and taking a terrible fight. Another thing here, if you're in this fight, you always want to be moving back and shooting with your archers. If the knights are in range, you want to be moving so the knights just don't just constantly free hit. The knights have to move, then auto, move, then auto. Also, archers should be attacking the spears. Archers counter spears, and then let the knights fight the other knights. Nonetheless, that was always a losing fight. He didn't have the mass and the tech to deal with that. English moving forward now. All of his food economy is completely gone. He's not building his landmark anymore. Oh no, Puff, Puff. And they're just gonna get overwhelmed in a second here. Still making archers despite knowing that, despite losing his whole army and knowing that he has a lot of knights, a lot more than what Puff does. He needs to include spears if he wants to stand a chance, but he's a whole age behind and he's not aging up anytime soon. This doesn't build itself, son. You need someone on it. And Puff taps out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, found this useful, and if you did, let me know in the comments so I can make some more videos like this. We'll cast some more different civs, and maybe we'll change up the ELO rating as well. This one was bronze 2. Maybe we could take a look at silver and move our way up, or if you enjoyed this, guys, let me know. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Peace out.